Hey guys, welcome to Loansanddrones. I'm sitting here with Tim Brigham, and he is a top producing loan officer. You're probably wondering, why do you have another loan officer on the show? Well, success breeds success, and Tim and I have actually taken on the task of having 2 branches in the Chicagoland area for Union Homes, and we're building this thing together. The beauty of this is that Tim has a lot of same qualities I do. In fact, I think he's better. So we're gonna bring Tim on, and he is a producer. I think a lot of people out in today's world are influencers and they're not producers. Well, this guy's doing $84 million of production a year. If you take our percentages and what we make, that's some dollars. So with that being said, Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you having me on. And I love what you said, but I'm the biggest fan. I love your show. I love what you're about. I mean, you do a great job. So thank you for having me on.
That's what I love about this, is because when you have guys that are quality producers like yourself, there's not that ego. There's that, hey, let's all work together. And I think that's the beauty of knowing people like yourself, is that we can help each other win in this market. You need to have that in this market. So let's start with one of the biggest questions I have for you is the farm. We're going off course a little bit. So tell me about this. You got city social media going, but then you live on a farm?
It's funny, right? Like I love what you just said, right? Scaling back just a little bit is that when people talk about accomplishments or things I've done in the past, I almost have this weird thing that shows up where I almost want to discount it. My coach actually taught me that I do this.
Yeah.
Is that I want to go back and go, yeah, but, right? Because I still feel like there's things I need to get done in order to qualify, right? And so what I learned from my mentors was, you got to show up every single day and act like the rent is due, right? There is no, I don't care what you did yesterday. What are you going to do about it now?
Right.
So the funny part, growing up in Tucson, Arizona, coming to Chicago, I'm a tattooed, shaved head, white kid trying to prove something. Big, stick in my. I'm carrying stuff on my shoulders, right? Well, I got something to prove. But you wouldn't know that, I guess, because the impression I get sometimes when I run into people on the streets, if I'm in a T-shirt, they go, "Whoa!" I go, I'm a regular guy, right?
Yeah,
like I don't, I drink bourbon, I eat meat. Like what do we do here, right? There's like a persona that comes with online stuff that, being in the city, you have to be built a certain way.
Right.
I think you can be both. I think you can run millions of dollars worth of mortgages through and be a genuine person at the same time. COVID hits, right? And what nobody talks about in the industry is, and boohoo, right? Like we have more business we know what to do with, right? I mean, I feel so bad for you. And I do feel bad for those that lost businesses and had challenges in this. I genuinely do. So this isn't a knock to that, but there is a flip side to this that nobody talks about. COVID was abusive, right? And it really sent us through this crazy kind of, your phone doesn't stop ringing. There's always something there. You're always solving everybody's problems. And I started to, mental health started coming up. It's like, I can only take so much, right? Yeah. You only have so much bandwidth. Didn't have proper coaching, didn't have any of the stuff to handle it. So during COVID, I sold the house that I swore I would be buried in the backyard.
Wow.
And we moved to Barrington Hills. It's tucked away. There's only 8 houses on our street. And in Barrington Hills, there's a minimum acreage requirement to build a residential property. So we're secluded. And I one day rented a skid steer, went in the backyard and just started knocking down trees. And my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. I want to see the rest of what's back there." And had no clue what I was doing and just did it. And my friends thought I was nuts. And one day I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna start a farm." I bought some baby chickens and brought them home. My wife's like, "Where are these things gonna live?" And I started a little homestead, which turned into kind of a big homestead. We got a big thing going on. I'm really proud of.
So what kind of animals do you have?
It's probably shorter to talk about what I don't have. I got goats. I got baby goats. I got adult goats. I have chickens. I have a donkey. I have turkeys. I have pigs. I've got, ducks. We've got all kinds of stuff going on.
And you said the other day when I was talking, you said you have an emu. What the heck is an emu?
Yeah, I always forget about the emu. I don't know why I always forget about the emu. That's like the most important
Emu's going
part, right?
wait, what, dude? I'm like the most.
So for my birthday, my wife tells me, hey, we've got a surprise for you. The kids and I got you something. I'm like, oh, cool.
Look at this thing.
I come home and like, I'm such an asshole because I come home and I didn't mean to be. I like walk out and I go, she goes, surprise. And I go, what the hell is that? And she goes, Tim, like your kids got this for you. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, wow. This is great. Wow. What is this? She goes, it's an emu. And I go, the hell is an emu? She goes, come here. And she's like Googling it, showing me. I'm like, oh, wow. What are we going to do with this thing? So fun fact, emus grow to 6.5 feet tall and they run up to 45 miles an hour. So
it's just like a dinosaur.
Yeah, so I keep telling people I'm gonna get like a gunsling and I'm gonna get a saddle and I'm just gonna ride this thing around like it's Jurassic Park, you know? I don't know. Yeah, it's Lucy.
We'll have to make a note of that. We'll put that on a video. We got to do that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely do it. Yeah, it's weird. It's so weird, but it's cool because as weird as that is, it's spiritual.
Yeah.
You watch little kids come in there and have an experience. You watch families open up and go, wow, and you watch all the hard work, all the things that me and my family do are all worth it when we throw parties and people show up and go, wow, this is cool. And they enjoy it. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Who gets to do that? Nobody. Like there's not too many people out there that can entertain like that. So you throw events on your farm for your clients, and tell me about what does that look like? When you plan an event out there, what does that look like?
Our big one is that we do is Halloween.
Okay.
So we had about 150 people show up and we did like a little kid trail that was, kind of family PC friendly. It wasn't scary.
Right.
And kids can trick or treat and whatnot. And then we had kind of another area that's on the back part of the property that has like scary stuff. So that if you want to go that route and, for the older kids and adults and stuff, which is fun. My wife and I love Halloween. So every year our rule is we buy one thing, right? Something cool. And so we've just been adding to it. And so then it's kind of cool to display it all out and see people appreciate it. It all leads to the farm. So you get to feed animals and hang out. And,
that's awesome.
We have bartending and some music and stuff. It's fun. But we've also had kind of involvement with the schools where the school that my kids go to, we've brought in animals. I brought in goats into class, watching them learn and we're teaching them live. And when do you get to have that experience, right?
Yeah. Right.
We've even had parents coming up to us asking us if their kids can come work on the farm. And I'm like,
what do you say?
I'm like, you don't want to, like, that sounds like, like child labor laws are involved.
Good point.
But one of the moms said it to us. She goes, my kids sit and play video games all day. Right. So I would love for them to come and do some hard work. And what I tell people is that my kids will understand money, they'll understand business, but they'll also have some blisters on their hands while they do it.
Wow,
right?
That's good.
Kind of lost art.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We're losing that hard work mentality, right?
Totally.
Because it's all digital. So.
Wow. So was that the reason why you purchased the farm? Was to kind of get away from what's going on in today's world, or what?
Listen, I'm a Christian, and I found the Lord a few years back and asked him what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And somehow this happened, and I just follow whatever he puts in front of me, and it's wild. No, we didn't know why we were buying this place. We didn't know any of it.
Wow.
And it just kind of worked itself out and started unveiling itself, and people come into my house and go, wait, what? Because it's not what you think, right?
Yeah.
It's our love. We put love in this. It's not some chain link fence where you just walk up and go, oh, that's cool.
Right,
like
right.
We want it to be an experience. We want it to be cool. So
that's
fun.
awesome.
Thanks, man.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I love doing this show is it never fails. Every time I come on and talk to people, just having this conversation, I learn something new and something inspiring comes out of it. And so I appreciate your authenticity too. when you're like, and you can tell that you're creative and you dream, and when you dream, you make things happen. So how does that happen in the mortgage world? Like, let's go into the mortgage stuff. And you're very creative when it comes to your podcast, which is Coffee for Closers, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
So check it out if you haven't seen it. It's awesome. He's always got great people, and we just had the guy from Lab Coats, was it?
Yeah, Tristan. Shout out to Tristan Ahumada.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you're in real estate, or even if you're not, check out his stuff. He's fantastic. He runs the biggest Facebook group in for real estate agents, and it's not what you think. It's very humble. Like, he's not self-serving at all. He gives the secrets that he's got flat out. So if you get a chance, check out the interview I did with him. He just pours out value. I think a lot of people use social media wrong, and he was the first guy ever to use Zillow, right? He was the first real estate agent on Zillow. He's also the advisor to both Facebook and Instagram on how to use the platforms. A lot of people don't know. For example, one of the things he talks about was, if you're trying to get someone's attention, if you're trying to get your content to show up on somebody else's page, you have to comment, like, and message, right? You have to comment on their posts, like their post, and then immediately send them a message. What you're telling the program to do is that when they see that, they will see your content for the next 15, 20 minutes the next time they log in.
That's gold. That's
right?
good. That's good stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know that either. So
wow.
It's wild stuff.
Good. That's awesome. What have you seen on the return of investment with social media and branding yourself to the mortgage world?
You know, I think that you said it right earlier, is that I think a lot of people are trying to be influencers. I personally am not trying to be an influencer. I'm trying to get stories told. And I think that one of the best stories I can tell didn't monetize for me, but it did for somebody else. And I think it's wild. Realtors will go out and they will tell a story through their social media, and sometimes nobody's bold enough to tell them that they're maybe telling the wrong story, right? Maybe they're trying to emulate the wrong person. Maybe they don't know that if they were authentic and they were true to themselves, they would get a better audience. I think a lot of people are afraid to be themselves, and they're trying to be something that they're not, and it comes out. I had 2 guests on the show, and one of them sent me a text message that said, "You have to see this. I can't appreciate you enough." There were 2 guests on the show that each had seen each other's interviews, and they got a deal done because they felt like they knew each other and they'd never met.
That's
they're
awesome.
like, "I saw your interview, man. I had no idea that's who you are," right? There's some incredible stories that come out, and I think those get missed.
Right.
We're so busy trying to stand in front of the Ferrari or the multi-million-dollar home or whatever, right? Human beings, consumers, when you're putting social media together, why are you doing it? What's the point?
Right.
And if you can't answer that question, like if it's lead gen, your social media should be lead gen. If you're trying to sell value and explain, then it should be that, right? If you're trying to teach, then it should be that. If you're just standing in front of a house saying, "This is a house," I mean, what is the point? If you don't have a call to action, no millionaire is going to call you because you've never closed anything, but yet you took a picture or did a video in front of a multi-million-dollar home. I'm sorry. No one's going to look at that and go, "Cool, I'll work with you." Instead, they're going to figure out whose house that sold that house, and they're going to call them. Right. So you start somewhere and you build it, get it to where it needs to be, and then you can do those things.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, what is your opinion on that?
I mean, I agree with you. I think that's one of the reasons why I do this is because of the fact that it brings the authenticity to the table, of the person. So I kind of, we dress up in suits every day, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time we're going to be presenting, like you said, in front of the houses or whatever. We're in suits. We're trying to look professional. But when you really sit down and really want to trust somebody with your money, you got to know who you're working with. It kind of goes back to Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz says the best way to build a team is, can I trust you? Are you good at what you do? And do you care about me? And clearly within the first 2 minutes, we already found that you care about people.
My coach taught me, you want to know, like, and trust.
Right.
If you want to know who you are, they want to trust you, right? And they want to like you. So a lot of people, they'll put on a suit or they'll put something together thinking that that's what you're supposed to do. What I have found is that sometimes me walking around in a suit or me showing up to a meeting in a suit, sometimes it's inappropriate because I make people uncomfortable, right? Pro tip for anybody watching this that's in real estate. You know who the best client is you could possibly ever have? Ever. I don't care. Tattoo artist.
Wow. Really?
You'd never know it.
Never know it.
They have
Why is that?
They're gypsies.
Okay.
Everywhere they go, they make money. When they go to Germany, they go and tattoo. When they go, right? When they travel the country, they're going to someone's shop, they're sleeping on someone's couch, and they're tattooing. So they're making money everywhere they go. Tattoo artists have this thing. They don't own anything. You'll never see them.
Yeah.
Maybe on TV, you'll see this whole persona thing, but
right.
You'll never see them stand in front of their Ferrari. You'll never see them buying things. It's because they're artists, right? So they have no debt, they have excellent credit, and they have a whole bunch of cash that they don't know what to do with. And if they're doing it right, they've created a business and they have income and they qualify.
Right.
I have gotten quite a few tattoo artists' homes, and most of them, they're almost shy or embarrassed to meet with me because they get treated different by the general public because they got tattoos on their neck or whatever. They're like, I can't ever buy a house.
Wow.
I've done a bunch of those deals.
Wow.
And they're fantastic. They're great people.
Huh.
So,
I never would have known that.
but if you show up in a suit, they're like, ugh, right? Like it's a little uncomfortable.
Well, you get that if you move, so I have family over in Indiana. If I dressed up in a suit and went over there,
You get made fun of.
they would be, I've actually, one time I went over for it was New Year's. So I dress up like I'm going to Chicago. I have a silver shirt on, the whatever kind of pants. And I got called John Travolta. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just dressing up for New Year's. In Chicago, you are.
Alfonso, I love you. If you see this, bro, it's all love. I had a buddy, Alfonso Gomez. He's no longer in the industry, and it's one of the funniest stories we've ever had of this. We were all sitting at lunch one time, and we were new in the mortgage business, right? And we're like ego, we're young kids. We don't know anything, but we're like, I'm making money now. Everybody's got this ego about them. They're all this persona, right? And Alfonso's buddy comes walking up to him, and we all got in real young. So it wasn't that long ago. We were in high school. I started in this when I was 20.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and a lot of my friends did too. We were all young kids. And his buddy walks up to him and he goes, man, look at you. Look at you got a suit on and wow, you're super successful now. And he's like, you just see him yeah, man, this is what I'm doing. He goes, she's like, what do you work at the mall selling ties or something? In front of all of us. And we're like, oh, that's good. And he knew what was coming. And he was like, no, man. He's like, I'm in the mortgage business. He goes, you are? And he walked off. And so for years, we walked to him and go, hey, man, what do you think of my tie? Do you think you could get me a better one? What do you think? It was great. It was great.
I love it. So you got it in 20.
Yeah.
And so that was only 5 years ago. I'm just kidding.
I wish. I'd still have hair.
How was the journey? What got you to where you're at today? Because you're a great producing loan officer, which is, I'll say it again.
Fourth month in, right? So here, let's see this. So I worked at Gateway Computers, and I transferred with Gateway Computers to Chicago because I had a buddy here, and I just needed to leave Tucson. There was nothing there for me, so I transferred within the company, and I told everybody back then. It was when you go in and buy stuff, you'd walk in, you meet a salesperson, they'd walk you through the whole presentation thing. You don't really see that anymore, but back then it was you had to kind of guide the customer through it. So there was a whole professional presentation that we had to do over and over and over. And so when customers don't come in, we all stand around and just talk and whatever. And I used to say once a week, I'm like, one day I'm going to sell somebody a computer and they're going to give me a job and I'm getting out of here. And they'd all laugh and they're like, dude, there's no way. This is what you're going to do. It's a great job, kid, whatever. And it happened. A guy walked in, and a younger guy, and back then you would size up the person and figure out we're all on commission. It's do I want to take that one or the next one that comes in? You got to figure out which lead you want, right?
Right.
And so everybody left him alone because it didn't look like he was going to buy anything, right? It was just kind of he's walking around, whatever. So I'm like, all right. I walk up and you guys are all going to talk. I want to make some money. So I start talking to him, and it turns out that he was the branch manager for an AmeriQuest mortgage company. And he ended up buying a bunch of stuff, and he took me under his wing, gave me a job. I entered the mortgage business, and I was so scared to be in the mortgage business. I didn't even know how to spell mortgage, right? Like I worked 5 days a week in the mortgage company, and then I would work weekends at Gateway, and I didn't know anybody here, so I just worked, and I did that for months. I think I went 3 straight months without a day off, and the third month in, I called my old boss back at Gateway, and I was like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing out here. Can I get my job back in Tucson? And he goes, yeah, come on back. And I gave it one more month. The 4th month in that office, I was the top producer in the office. I did 11 loans for $2.7 million. And this guy comes walking over my desk, and he goes, how old are you? I go, Tom, we both know that I'm 20. Like, what's up? He goes, weren't you just in high school? I go, yeah, that was a thing. What's up, Tom? And he goes, I'm a grown man, and you just beat me. No one beats me. I'm the top producer in this office. What did you do? I go, what, man? Tom, leave me alone. Like, what's up, dude? I just closed some loans. He goes, no, I want to know what you did. Nobody beats me. You must be doing something. What's up? And I looked at him and I go, Tom, you know how you sit over there? He goes, yeah. I go, I can hear everything that you say. And he goes, yeah. I said, so I just listen to what you say. I do what you do, but maybe just a little bit better. And the whole office is like, oh, because nobody talks to Tom like that. Tom is this lumberjack giant dude, and he goes, that's a good answer. He takes me under his wing. He taught me how to actually be a professional. He taught me how to be a real salesperson. He taught me some professionalism in my presentation, as well as how things work. And he ended up being my mentor in the business. But I go from there to Countrywide. We opened up the first Countrywide office. We then go from there to Washington Mutual. I've been a broker. I opened up a broker shop. I've ran a net branch in banking. I built that out to about 18 loan officers at one point. I mean, I've been in every single platform in this industry you could possibly imagine, right? It wasn't until I came to this company that I actually understood this business, right?
And why is that?
I did everything my way with no coaching, no mentorship, nothing, and we closed a bunch of loans. We did a great job. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not mad about it, but it was once questions started getting asked on how I ran my ship and how I ran my team, how I ran my business, that I didn't have the answers to, or I would see people in the space that I would want to emulate but didn't know how. How do you do a lunch and learn? How do you coach a realtor? Hell, I didn't even really know what realtors did, if I'm honest. I thought they walked into a house and said, do you like this? You want to buy it? Right? I mean, how hard is your
Just
job?
opening doors, right?
Right? I called around apologizing to realtors. I went around going, I want you to know I'm truly sorry that I didn't know what you do for a living, how hard it is. But this company taught me those things, the coaching, the mentorship that I've received here. It changed my life. It's a very, very different environment. And I'll be forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
It's true mentorship. It's asking hard questions.
Right.
I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here to make you money. I'm here to get it so that you survive the attrition rate that's going on right now. So
we're talking Union Home has a coaching platform, and you are a coach, right?
Yeah.
So let's rewind just a second here. So you said you were doing it all yourself, which is kind of how I've been feeling too. So now that I've come over to Union Home, I'm about as this is recording, I'm about 2 months in, and Tim's telling me this stuff, and I'm going, wait a minute, you actually don't get stressed out. You're not carrying the heavy weight. He doesn't look like he's waking up with anxiety like I have been for the last couple years. Let me be clear.
I get stressed out. I get anxiety just like anybody else, because I'd be lying if I said that I don't. But it's different. It's managed differently. I know how to actually look at my business and know what the problem is, know what I can do. I call it gaps, right? I want to know what the gaps are in my business. And I consistently, every single day, show up and go, okay, I don't care what we did. I don't care what we have. How can I scale it? What can I do? What do we need to be doing on every single day? Because most loan officers, right? Let's be honest. What do you do when you call a realtor? Hey, how was your open house? Okay, I'm guilty. Hey, just calling to check in. Those are the two most offensive things you could possibly say to a realtor.
Yeah.
Because when you call and say, hey, how was your open house? They're thinking, cool, man, when I have a lead, I'll give it to you. Why are you calling me? You're reminding me that I don't have anything for you? Like, I've already got enough problems. Why are you calling me? Or just calling to check in. Yeah, cool. No, you're not. That's like, you say that to a client, you say that to a realtor, like, that's the most offensive thing you could say, because what is that?
Right.
It's all
right.
It's a sales tactic, right? We don't have that level, that type of a relationship. What you're doing is you're going, hey, so like, we gonna work together or what, right? It's really needs to be, if you're calling a real estate agent, you better be calling them with value. You better be calling them with something that is tangible. You better be a value add to their business. Otherwise, why do they work with you?
Right.
Right. If you're not working hard for them, right, then, you know, I want to earn it every single day. And I didn't know that until I started getting coached. And I started learning how this works. How do you scale a realtor's business? How do you get them more business? How do you help them with their business, not just take? Right. I think that's important.
Yeah. There's two types of people in this world. There's the takers and the givers. If you're not giving a value add in this business, I don't think you're going to be here very long. And this is probably one of the toughest markets we've seen. You've been in it in 2008 I think it was harder.
This doesn't even compare to 2008.
Yeah.
This is nothing like it.
But there's a lot of people, we're seeing a thinning of the herd. But that's the reason why I like synergizing with people like yourself. Like when you get around people that know what they're doing, and you can build together and help each other, encourage each other, challenge each other. That's what you want.
Look, if you're not looking at the facts right now and you're scared about this business, here's what's going on. If you let a consumer walk away from you going 2008, blah, 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 you don't stand your ground and go, hold on a second. In 2008, do you understand what the market looked like? We were giving people who couldn't be approved for a Discover card 100% financing in a house with no assets. Those people were then going into foreclosure, and they were being taught systematically that if they didn't make their mortgage payments, they could live there for a year or 2 years and keep that money. They also didn't have any skin in the game. They had no money down. What do they care if they lose the house? They'll go on to the next one. Right? They were taking products that they didn't understand. There was rampant greed and just fraud that now we have laws that control that, don't even allow for it. We have a landscape that is completely different, and one would argue almost a little bit more aggressive than it needs to be, meaning they're a little more restrictive than it needs to be, designed to control, this 2008 not showing up again. Today, your borrower has skin in the game, has good credit, has a real job. They're not doing stated loans, right? And if there's market adjustments, they want their money back.
Right.
If they're going to sell their place, they want their money back. They're not going to go into foreclosure. They're not going to lose the money. They're going to sell. And right now we have an inventory crisis. So if somebody, God forbid this happens, but if somebody decides like, I've lost my job, I need to sell the house, somebody is waiting to buy it right now because my phones are ringing all day long. We've still got record demand. It's just there's no inventory, right? And hopefully with the Fed coming out here and hopefully relaxing rates here shortly, all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. And I think you and I are thinking along the same lines as far as where the Feds are going. We're close to the inflation at this point. We're filming this in July. Yeah. And we're moving into August, the fall months, feeling that there's probably a little bit of an inversion as far as the listings coming out. More listings are starting to come out. So I think we're going to see a nice ending of the year. What's your forecast for maybe the end of the year to probably next year? What are your thoughts?
Listen, I form my opinion by listening to a bunch of people, right? On everything. I listen to a bunch of realtors. I listen to a bunch of economists. I'm trying to figure out, okay, what do we think is going to happen? Federal funds rate got raised way too fast, way too high, right? Because we waited so long, we had to raise it really, really high, and we raised it really, really quickly. We're still waiting for that dividend to show up, right? And so we're here, And so with the latest reports that came out for CPI, we should see a retraction. Now, we've got a Fed meeting on Thursday as of this taping. If I had to make it up and make a call, right, because nobody really knows, I think we're going to stay the same, right? I don't think they're going to do anything. I think we get to September, then we start to see maybe the first cut. If that goes well, possibility of a couple more cuts before the end of the year. I think we get into the next year. We got a new president, right? We have a new Fed coming in, right? So that tells us we'll have new policy. I think that all of what we did has to be dealt with. We can't leave the federal funds rate as high as it is because we'll have some very serious problems showing up. So all of that points towards cheaper money. Look, some people are out there calling and saying, well, you know, a little flat line, a little leveling out period or whatever. All I know is this, from the mortgage side, we have plenty of people that are waiting on the sidelines and their only reservation is current interest rates. My call is that the wife is going to look at the husband and go, we passed last time. You were difficult last time. I'm not doing this again. We're buying this house. I don't care. Rates are down. Stop it. My kid needs to go to that school district. I'm tired of it. I've lived in this house for 4 years and I want out. We just had another baby. We don't have enough space. We're doing it.
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing that people need to pay attention to, right?
Yeah. The motto is people love their rate, hate their house. That's this year's theme. Last year it was date the rate and marry the house. Now it's reversed. So I just think that we're going to come up with some pretty good numbers at the end of the year. And I think we're going to move into 2025 with a pretty decent start of the year.
I think we'll have attrition that's going to show up. I think there's a lot of realtors and a lot of loan officers that aren't willing to be honest with themselves. They don't have a coach. They don't have proper leadership. They think they're better than they are because they've closed a few deals. Look, if you close 2 or 3 deals a month during COVID, I hate to tell you, but anybody could do that. If without any skill set, if you can answer a phone, you can close 2 or 3 deals with the proper processor, the proper, organization.
Right.
If you're struggling right now, you got 2 choices. Either get serious about this business or get out of our way because you're going to screw up deals left and right. And I'm going to be the one that's going to pick up and save the day. Right. It's just what happens. You and I are going to be sitting here cleaning up going, okay, they did what? Yeah, that doesn't work. That's not how this. At the end of the day, we have to get to a place where real estate is hard. It's supposed to be hard. How you cut your teeth, how I got into this industry, we weren't like given this job.
Right.
We had to earn it.
Right.
And so if you got in during COVID, it's time to earn it. Like you got to get out there and be very, very serious and clear cut and make some hard decisions. Invest in yourself.
You made a great point. I listened to Brian Buffini a lot, and he said it during this time, you're going to see a cleansing of the market.
Yep.
And you're going to see a leveling up of the service that you're going to receive because of the A players that are going to be here. We've just been inundated with tons of people. I remember back in when we're seeing a lot of the furloughs, there was a whole group of airplane pilots that were creating a Facebook page.
Yeah.
How to become a loan officer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry to all my pilot friends out there, but it was true. I mean, what are you going to do when rates are at 2 and it was a feeding frenzy?
My favorite is when realtors decide they want to be a loan officer.
Oh yeah. That's a whole nother podcast. Sorry, realtors.
I would never try and be a realtor. Listen, you may think you understand our world. You don't.
Well, I wouldn't want to be a realtor. Like before I came on a Union Home, I got interviewed by a company that was trying to bring me on and teach the realtors how to be loan officers. Yeah. And I go, why? Well, I don't want to be a real estate agent. Why would you want to be a loan officer? It's just crossing paths. You just don't want to do that. Be a specialist in your field.
Amen.
So
Amen.
With that being said, we're going to get into some random quick questions that time of the hour. So first question, if you could be anywhere in the world today, besides this podcast, of course, where would you be?
If I could be anywhere in the world today. Wow. That's a tough one. On a farm, being honest.
Really?
I'm not trying to be cliche here. I just went to Michigan this weekend, and I got to go on a friend's farm. And
Where at Michigan, by the way?
It was we went to Paw Paw. right?
Okay.
We went on the lake on Pawpaw, and then we went to New Haven, and it was. I'm sorry, that's God's country right there. I mean, it is. There is something that happened, and it was every single face, every single person went, "Whoa, this is cool," right? Because they had this like blueberry thing where it was like it was all built out, and like you have to respect it. It's so cool. Yeah. We're driving ATVs around. I'm watching my kid on the ATV. I mean, there's something about that is it's just good for your soul, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm from Michigan, and the funny thing is I grew up there, and I totally disrespected. That for years and going, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Now I go back and I absolutely love it. So
yeah. The
you
water,
grow to love it.
You drive to the water, and then you can go and just be out with nature. It's great. Yeah. It's great.
If you could have dinner with anyone today, whether they be here, whether they're not past or whatever, who would it be?
I mean, if whether we're talking anybody.
Anybody.
Jesus Christ. That would be amazing, right? Could you sit down and have dinner with the Lord? That would be amazing.
Gosh, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I can pick a whole bunch of cool people to have dinner with, but if I get anybody, I got some questions. Let's talk.
Okay, so let's follow up with that. What would be the first question you ask Jesus?
What would be the first question I asked Jesus? This is getting deep.
Well,
I wasn't expecting.
Sorry.
I would ask, what do you want me to do? Because that would be the first question. If I get to ask any question, what do you want from me? What can I do for you, right? And then we get into a conversation about the meaning of life and how it all works. Of course, right? I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole we could go down for hours. That's a whole other podcast.
Totally. Yeah, we'll have to do that again.
Yeah.
Last question. I know I double-barreled one right there for you, but favorite food. What's your favorite food?
Without question. What are you talking about? There's tacos. What?
Tacos?
Dude, if your answer isn't tacos, we got to go eat. Like that. What do you mean? I grew up in the desert, man. It's my wife makes fun of me. She goes, "You're not white. You're Hispanic." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was one of 4 white kids in my high school, so it was like I grew up. That's my comfort food, man."
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a special place? Maybe throw a shout out to a local place that you go to that's got the best tacos.
I'm going to embarrass myself because I don't know the name of it, but it's right by my house in Barrington. It's right off 14. It just says tacos real big, and it's also a grocery store at the same time. And it's
easy to spot.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Yeah, no, it's my little. I like the little hole in the wall, mom and pop places.
That's the best way to go.
Yeah, the commercial stuff is not. It's
not
my thing.
No.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Tim. Again, where can people find you if they wanted to locate you?
On Instagram, I'm your mortgage guy, Tim. But also I have a show called Coffees for Closers. It's Coffee is for Closers TV, all one word. But shoot me a message on either one of those. I'm happy to help, and I'm an open book. You ever want to learn something? It's not for me. It's for you. We got to share it within the industry.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Tim. You are just a man of class, and we'll definitely do this again because, like you said, we have so many different angles we could take with our conversation, but we are here from Union Home, both of us, 2 branches, trying to make a brand not only for ourselves, but also for the company we work for, which we absolutely love. Like you said, we have a coaching platform, a lot of resources, great products, and great culture. We'll see you on the next time with Loans and Drones. Have a great day.